You're about to experience legendary Briley quality combined with renowned Motorelli design and dependability. Motorelli is big on performance, small on maintenance. Briley Manufacturing is proud to present Jason Minke, recognized worldwide for his technical expertise, to show you how to use and maintain your Motorelli machine.
Hi, I'm Jason Minke. Thanks for buying the Motorelli trap machine from Briley Manufacturing. I'm here to help you with the maintenance and setup of your machine and to show you how easy the Motorelli is to use. In my years as a certified technician, I've worked on every type of machine available. I can assure you without reservation that the Motorelli is the best machine on the market today for sporting, trap, and skeet. It's also the safest and easiest to use. Let's break one down for you. When you're working on this machine, you always want to think safety first. As of right now, this is the way your machine comes in the crate. It comes cocked and dangerous, but it has a safety pin on it. Right where the red tag is where the safety pin is. It keeps the machine from firing. As you can see, it's safe. To remove the magazine, there's two pins. The pins are identical to each other, opposite of the machine. As you take the pin off, I recommend that you stick it in the magazine sleeve. The magazine sleeve has holes in it, so the pin fits right in. After you put the pins in, this magazine lifts right off. It's real simple. You pull it right off. There you go. Next step, we're going to pull the safety pin out of the machine. Once you pull the safety pin out, this machine is now dangerous. You want to make sure there's nothing in front to get in the way, or you don't want to be in front. Because as you can see, with the safety pin out, the machine can't hurt you if you're in the wrong place. This machine is one of the only machines on the market that you can actually catch the arm. I don't recommend you do that, but it's possible. Next step we're going to do, we're going to take out the mainspring. This is the mainspring right here. The way you take out your mainspring is you run your arm to the 12 o'clock position. To do that, you hold the arm, you release the trigger, and you run through the arm to the 12 o'clock position. After you run it to the 12 o'clock position, you push your mainspring in and you pull the main pin out. This is your main pin. Goes in one way, comes out one way. Now your machine is safe. This is your main pin.
Pull.
And the next step we're going to do is take out the spring tensioner. Spring tensioner is real easy. It slips out of spring tensioner bracket. It pushes on the back of the spring to give more speed on the target or less, depending on how far you want to throw your target. I'll show you that later in the video. Next, we're going to remove the spring tensioner bracket. Very easy to do. This is it right here. The way you remove it is you take your 13mm wrench and you loosen the bolt from the back side. They have star washers on them, so once you loosen the bolt, it comes right out. You remove the two bolts, and this is your spring tensioner bracket. The cam operates the lifting plate and the magazine advancement arm. First part you want to disconnect is the cocking stud arm, which is in front of the cam. To remove it, you need a 4mm Allen wrench. I recommend a T-handle that you can get at any hardware store. After you remove the bolts, you want to pull back on your magazine advancement arm, and it releases the cam from your cocking stud arm. Next step will be your cam removal. Cam removal is the same process as before, but in the back. You have two 4mm Allens bolts that you just unscrew. Once you unscrew them, you do as before and grab your magazine advancement arm and you pull it back. Once you pull it back, I like to bring the arm forward as to get it out of your way. Now you reach in and you just push your cam back and it slides right out. This is your cam. After the cam removal, you want to take out your throwing plate, which is very easy. All you have to do is grab it, pull it straight out, and there you go. Next step is the removal of the magazine advancement pin. It's very simple to do. If you notice, it's spring-loaded. And there's a little pin inside that's spring-loaded also. If you push on that pin, this main pin pulls right out. This is a grease point. There's also a spring in here. Spring is very important. If you don't have your spring, your magazine will not advance. The reason you take out the cocking cam is so you can get to your gearbox and motor. You need your 6mm Allen, and you have to go to the back of your motor. In the back of your motor, there's an Allen bolt where the fan is. You stick your Allen wrench back there and you turn it counterclockwise until your arm moves to about the 9 o'clock position. Once you're at the 9 o'clock position, you need to go ahead and put your arm into cocked position. Without the spring being in it, it is not dangerous. You go ahead and rotate your arm all the way around, and you hit the back of the cam with the arm. Give it a little pull, and you loosened your cam. Then you go ahead and unscrew it. Here's your cam. Now you have access to your motor. The next step is microswitch cam removal. Very simple process. You need your 8mm Allen. Come to your arm. Easiest way to do it is with the arm in the cocked position because it's up against the trigger. Grab your Allen wrench and you turn. You loosen it about halfway and you grab a hammer and you tap on it. That taps out your microswitch cam. You loosen your Allen bolt the rest of the way. There's your microswitch cam. The next step is the removal of the arm, which is very simple now that we have the main bolt out of the center of the shaft. You put the arm in the 12 o'clock position, you sort of rock it back and forth. That's the removal of the arm. Next step is a one-way bearing removal. It's very simple. All you have to do is remove these 4 bolts, which are 13mm. You grab your 13mm wrench, turn them, and you loosen them. And then you pull it straight out, and that's the removal of your one-way bearing. Now it's time to reassemble the machine. The best way to reassemble it is to put it back together the way you took it apart. We're going to start off with the one-way bearing. After you get all the bolts tight, we'll want to go next with the arm. There's 3 holes in the arm. 2 are for the pins and 1's for the bolt. You just slip it on. Pretty simple. The microswitch cam works in conjunction with the microswitch to tell the motor when to turn on and off as it's cocking. Now you get the main bolt that goes through the center of the arm and it screws into the cam. And you want to get this bolt fairly tight, just good and snug. Next, we're going to reassemble the cocking cam. First, you have to pull the arm into the cocked position. You just screw it on the same way you took it off. Until it's snug. The motor will tighten it up by itself as it starts working. Next, we're going to put in the throwing plate, which goes in one way. It's got a guide pin that goes into the hole right here. Now we're going to put in the cam. The cam goes in exactly the way you took it out. Pretty easy. Just slide it right in. There you go, your cam's in. Next, we're going to put on the magazine advancement arm, which connects to the back of the cam. You always want to put this on first because you can maneuver your cam into your other stud. Next, we're putting the cocking cam in with the flat cam. And you use your magazine advancement to line everything up. And once you get it lined up, you push it straight in, and you line up your holes, you put your bolts in. Now what we're going to do is put in the magazine advancement pin. This is a grease point that you'd want to grease probably once a year for your skeet machines. You want to pull out your spring, clean it, and grease it. After you re-grease it, you put the spring right back in the hole. Then you get your magazine advancement pin, which has the little pin on it. Stick it in. There you go. Spring tensioner bracket goes in just the way you took it off. There's no wrong way. You could put it in upside down. It doesn't matter. There's no wrong way to put it in. After you get the bracket in, you just put your bolt through the frame, through the bracket. Your star washer is important. Put your star washer on, and you bolt them together. Okay, next we'll put in the spring tensioner, which slides in. You'll want to go ahead and grease this on your yearly maintenance. You just pull it out. It's not a high moving part, but a little bit of grease on it won't hurt. You just put it right in there. Next, we're going to want to reinstall the spring. But first, before you reinstall the spring, you want to put a little grease on your cam, on your flat cam, on the outside surface and in the groove. You don't want too much grease because grease attracts target dust. Now we'll reinstall the spring. To reinstall the spring, it'll only go in one way. There's a groove where the end slips in, and it slips behind this little bracket right here. Now you're ready to start throwing targets again once you put your magazine on. This is also a grease point. Just a little grease right here by the stud and the spring is fine. You never want to put too much grease. Now that you got your machine assembled, you want to go ahead and dry fire it a couple of times just to make sure you got everything together right. Of course, once you got it cocked with the spring, you never want to stand in front of it because you think safety first. Now that we've dry fired it a couple of times, we'll put on the magazine. Grab the magazine and you put it on the same way you took it off. Grab your pins, you put them in the same place you took them out from. Now you're ready to start throwing targets. Now we're going to show you spring adjustment, height adjustment, and some skeet adjustments. First, I'm going to show you the spring adjustment. This knob right here is your spring adjustment. If you turn it clockwise, you give it more spring. Just a little turn gives a lot of distance, so you don't have to give a lot if you just want little distance. If you want a fast target, crank it up as fast as you want. If you think your target's too fast and going too long, you turn it counterclockwise. Very simple, very easy. Next is your height adjustment, which is right here. Turn it one way, and your machine goes up. turn it the other way, and your machine goes down. And it's important to go ahead and make sure that your lock bolt is locked up against your machine so that your machine doesn't adjust as you're throwing targets from the vibration. Next, we're going to do some skeet adjustments. We have your inside-outside adjustment, and we have your cant adjustment. Your cant is for your windage. On your inside-outside adjustment, you loosen your bolt with your 19mm wrench. Go one way for outside, one way for inside, depending on which house you're in, your high house or your low house. You tighten it back up snug so you don't have any movement during the vibration of the machine throwing. Your cant adjustment is this knob right here. And you lower the knob and loosen the bolt, depending on which way you want your target to fly. To be able to throw a flat, straight target, Matarelli has installed the cant adjustment. If you notice your target's not quite flat, you can adjust the plate to make the target flat. Once you get the target where you want, this bolt right here, you snug it down to the plate. You never tighten this bolt. You finger tighten it and you twist on the knob just 1/8 of a turn, and that's the adjustment you need for your cant. And finally, if anybody buys these machines in the real cold climate, I recommend that you drain your gearbox from the 90-weight fluid I have now and put a 5W30 synthetic. It takes about a cup. This video should help you with the basic maintenance on your new Matarelli system. If you have any problems or questions, you're welcome to call Briley Manufacturing toll-free number, 1-800-331-5718. You're about to experience a whole new world of shooting with the best machine of its kind on the market. Enjoy your Matarelli.
Name is Wayne Grindstaff. I'm the skeet chairman of Matinacock Rod and Gun Club. This here is a very challenging course, pretty unique in the skeet game because of the beach here and the seawall, and we're always fighting 40-mile-an-hour winds, temperatures from about 65 degrees like it is today down to maybe 10 degrees. All right, we just installed the new Matarelli machines, and this is kind of a testimonial to Briley and Jason, who did the wonderful tape, and also it's an addendum for the newer changes to the machines, which I'll show you now. The changes to these machines from Jason's original tape are very simple, okay? In the very front, instead of 2 hairpin clips holding on the magazine, we now have a third one up front, here. Down lower, when we get to our left and right, we still have the same lever, all right, where you loosen this 19mm nut to make you change left and right. The major difference is in the cant, where before we had the knob going down with a bolt you loosened. Okay, here it's all done as one. Your lock bolt and your adjustment nut to change the cant of the machine to level out the birds. There's one additional thing that isn't shown, is this set screw down here, which I added a lock nut to. On a brand new machine, you never have to fool with it. When the machine throws thousands and thousands of birds, this might take an adjustment just to turn around and get your trigger to engage a little bit better. Other than that, you just go by what Jason did and you'll be just fine. This is a very rough environment here. As you can see, all the broken birds we have in the bottom of this house, these are not from the machine. These are because we're shooting with a 40-45 mile an hour wind at times. Broken birds from the high house come right through this window and smash inside of here. And this machine just keeps ticking along. I want to thank Briley and Jason for all his help and what happened here. We were using Western machines that were bought in 1974. They finally wore out, and I'm hoping these outlast my lifetime. Thank you.